So where did we leave off?
Alright, so we're reviewing Rise of Skywalker, where we left off from the last review. Right here, the hour-long review of all of our 108 hours or whatever of Star Wars that we watched.
Recorded that.
Watch it here, okay.
Recorded that before we saw Rise of Skywalker, before we saw The Mandalorian, before we went to Galaxy's Edge, before the last season of Clone Wars, and before probably a bunch of other stuff that has come out by now by the time you're watching this.
Right now, it's during quarantine.
Today's May the 4th, 2020. We just watched the last episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars.
It was great.
Gonna cry?
It was amazing.
Gonna cry.
I cried. The ending was great.
But last video was all building up towards the Rise of Skywalker, the end of the saga. We had a lot of predictions.
We were so optimistic about it. We were hoping it was going to be a good story and relating to Clone Wars.
Yeah. Or relating to the entire saga as a whole.
You know, things that would make sense.
But just a little tease, a little, people who were thinking that here's a crumb for you, and then that's it. So.
Alright, so, The Rise of Skywalker. What did we think of The Rise of Skywalker?
It was a movie that tried to undo an entire movie that preceded it, and it reached its runtime.
I wanted to make a video of Rise of Skywalker immediately after I watched it, but then I didn't.
There's just too much to say.
Well, and then I watched it today on May the 4th, right after the last episode of Clone Wars, and I still kind of think the same way of it. Like, yes, it's a Star Wars movie. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna somehow like it. Like, that's just a given. But as a movie, and the plot, and as a Star Wars fan, and hoping that it's gonna be good, it wasn't that great. Like, there's so many plot holes. It went too fast. They added Palpatine at the last minute. There's already proof that, like, they had a different script, even, like, after a different villain, after Carrie Fisher died, they even had a different plot. So they had like 2 different plots, to be honest. Like, they had extra cuts.
I mean, that script went through so many rewrites, and it just like it relied a lot on let's fix what the fans didn't like about the last one, and let's throw in some nostalgia, and let's try to make it make sense for this current trilogy and not pay attention to the rest of the saga as a whole.
We were easily trying to hope that there was going to be some kind of wizard force. What are they actually called?
The Ones.
The Ones. We hoped the dagger was going to be with the son and the daughter, and the father with the Ones, the wizard people.
The script
which would make sense, and it's original, because not a lot of people watch the Clone Wars, so it would make sense to the general audience, I think, that, oh, this is different, this is actually interesting.
Yeah.
So then, oh, we're promoting the Clone Wars TV series because there's the last season. Wouldn't that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, like, bringing back Palpatine enough wasn't explained, so you could have just as well had, like, the father, the son, and the daughter, and had them not as well explained just as this movie was with Palpatine, but at least have that source material to rely back on, so if people did want to know, they could go back and watch that. If they didn't care, they could still enjoy the movie. The dagger would have made sense, because it would have had meaning, instead of being, oh, it's shaped exactly like the wreckage, because obviously that wreckage isn't gonna move in 50 years, so let's make a dagger that looks like it, and it points to the little room where Palpatine kept his little wayfinder, because no one would move it. It's always gonna be there till somebody finds this dagger. And that wreckage is always going to stay the same shape until somebody lines it up with it and points the thing towards where they need to go.
It was too safe. And then the whole, like, if you didn't watch The Mandalorian, then you wouldn't get the part where Rey heals.
I mean, you'll
the
get
worm.
it. I mean, the
Like,
Mandalorian
you'll get
didn't
it,
explain
but
it anymore.
no,
It just introduced it.
But it just, you'd be like, oh, I know ahead of the game, like, whatever. But just, that left, like, at the time when it came out during Christmas last year in December, it was, right?
About.
Yeah, it didn't make, it was just like, what? So why didn't Obi-Wan cure Qui-Gon Jinn? Why didn't this happen? Why didn't all these people cure these other Jedis? I'm sure there's a bunch of videos that Star Wars Theory and a bunch of other people have made videos of that, but just like, that just opened a whole bunch of plot holes.
Introducing that power alone didn't bother me. What bothered me is that nothing that any of the characters, Rey, Finn, Poe, any of them, anything that they didn't feel earned. Everything felt too convenient and too easy throughout the entire trilogy.
It just didn't make sense. There were the whole movie, they were introducing more storylines to all the characters and not finishing them. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, where is this going? Like, especially the Lando and I forgot her name. See, I can't even remember her name. This is embarrassing. Chana? Jana. He was like, well, let's find out where you're from.
That was so like, random, forced, weird scene.
It was the weirdest thing ever. It was not
They
even
never even
like,
interacted.
It was not even...
I don't know. I'm tired.
I'm tired of it. It's not that great, but would you rank
Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi. But a sequel trilogy is like down here.
No, I mean, what's worse, The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker?
It's hard because it's like Last Jedi made all these weird choices, and then you have Rise of Skywalker that tried to undo all those weird choices. So it kind of decides on, did you like those weird choices they made? For me, a lot of them, not really. Some of them, yeah, I liked Last Jedi the first time I watched it, and then upon rewatching it, reanalyzing it, it became one of my least favorite films. And I felt like the opposite about Force Awakens, and that opinion fluctuates a bunch. So this movie was just like a rushed finish for it all, and it wasn't well done.
The ending really pissed me off.
It was just like,
The ending really pissed me off.
Yeah.
The Reylo, Ben Solo dying, the Force Ghost showing, her saying she's a Skywalker, her burying the lightsabers into the sand. I'm not about it. That made no sense. I'm tired. I don't want it. I'm sorry. Me and him could have wrote a better script.
I got 5. Call me up. We'll redo it.
We were just disappointed from our predictions and nothing came about it. Sorry. Not sorry.
Other than Rise of Skywalker being a disappointment, there's a lot of things that have been not so disappointing in Star Wars.
We have rode the Rise of the Resistance ride at Disney World at Galaxy's Edge and went back to Galaxy's Edge.
And even though that, like, all of Galaxy's Edge and that ride, it's all sequel trilogy, I love it. It's great, well done. Best ride ever, not even Star Wars bias, like, very well done, trackless system, great animatronics, most immersive experience I've ever been on through, like, a theme park ride. You gotta check it out, best thing ever.
I was more impressed of the ride than the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's saying something, and I definitely like theme park rides, especially this one. This is like one of a kind theme park ride. You can watch it on YouTube. I'm sure people have filmed it and everything. I cried just at the end. It was just like the coolest. It was just cool. It was the coolest shit I've ever seen ever.
Very cool.
Like, it was really cool.
Also, Smuggler's Run, really cool. All the shops, really cool. All the food, really good. Cantina, great. Utini, best song from Oda's playlist.
The cantina is sick.
Blue milk or green milk?
I like the green milk. Honestly, it's not that bad. Stop being a...
See, the sequel's got something, right? Green milk tastes good.
The green milk is good. Maybe not the scene, but the green milk is good. Smugglers, like, just everything about Galaxy's Edge, the rides, the shops, everything. It's like the Disney fans that are like, oh my god, I'm going to Magic Kingdom, I feel like I'm home, like, I feel like this is great, this is my life.
I am home.
I feel like that with Galaxy's Edge. And
Galaxy's Edge, yeah.
I bought a Disney pass, and then the pandemic happened. But
I got to go there enough, though, so that was nice. I went there like 10 times as soon as I got my pass, so I got a good fill. I got enough Ronto wraps, enough milk.
The food's good.
Enough thermal detonator Coca-Colas.
I like the doors because it's like you're using the Force, and I think it's...
I just didn't get to... honestly, the only thing I didn't get to do at Galaxy's Edge is build a lightsaber, and I wanted to do that for my birthday, May 19th, the release date of Revenge of the Sith in 2005.
Yeah, he's a Taurus George Lucas baby.
Just like Lucas fam. I'm born, bred Star Wars man. Hello.
Yeah, so the Revenge of the Sith poster...
Who's your daddy?
Says, who's your daddy? And it's like the funniest shit.
So it's Father's Day weekend that time.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, it did come out on Father's Day weekend.
Something like that,
It was something like that.
Except
2 thumbs up, Galaxy's Edge.
The only
go
thing I
when
want...
you're not sick and there's no pandemic.
Yeah, the only thing I'd want more is just some way to be even more, like, immersed in it, and I think the only way to do that would be, like, to be a cast member and work there as a character.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially in the Rise of Resistance ride.
Oh yeah, if I could be like a First Order officer and just be mean to people all day.
That would be so
10 out of 10.
The Mandalorian.
Best thing to happen to Star Wars since the original trilogy, almost, pretty much.
Honestly. The soundtrack, the story, the cinematography, the characters, the pacing, the writing... Everything about that is, like, great. There's a bunch of different directors, and everything is, like... I think there might have been one episode I was like, eh.
Yeah.
But, like, everything was great. I fell in love with the child, the Baby Yoda. I call him Baby Yoda. I don't care until he has a name, or she has a name, or it has a name.
What's great about it is that it's all new. Like, obviously, it's still within the same time period, like, a few years after Return of the Jedi.
Live action.
But... The Mandalorian, brand new character. The child, never done before, new character. It's all new. It's a lot of new stuff, and it's like, okay, the Empire after they fell. And it does call back to some things from Clone Wars and use a little bit of that storytelling, but not so much that it's not its own thing. And I don't know, I mean, the soundtrack, none of it's John Williams, but I still think they did a pretty good job with what they did.
Everything's original, I think.
It's like an old Western serial. Like, it's great.
Yeah, I really like Pedro Pascal, the puppet of Baby Yoda, IG-11,
Taika Waititi,
Carl Weathers, the guy from the chicken restaurant,
Werner Herzog.
I
would like to see the baby. Go watch it, Mandalorian Disney Plus. You're missing out if you haven't seen it. Season 2's coming up. They're already getting all that merchandise pushed out there.
Pre-ordered it. I'm waiting like 6 months for it. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled. Yeah, check your orders.
Check your orders.
So, Clone Wars Season 7 ended today.
Rise of Skywalker, not how you end something a lot of people like. Last episode of Clone Wars, definitely how you end something a lot of people like.
Yeah,
I was satisfied.
I teared up.
Good ending.
The last episode today, I teared up.
Any questions I had got answered.
Yep.
How did Rex get out of Order 66? Where was Ahsoka? How did Darth Vader react?
They showed Darth Vader.
They showed like the stormtroopers at the end.
They went through episode 3. They addressed all Darth Maul stuff. I mean, like, if you saw Solo, you know where he was going at the end of the episode. He was going to start Crimson Dawn. Because he lasts until the end of Rebels.
It looked great. It was paced. The music for that last episode was especially, like, on par. And even the episode before that, they played, like, the same song that they played when, I think it's Anakin's betrayal during Order 66 in the film. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Poor Amy. I teared up when Ahsoka was like, I can feel what happened to Anakin. Master Skywalker.
I was like tearing up when like Rex was like having a fit because he was still like suffering from Order 66. He drops his helmet and he's like, I'll be the one to shoot her. Turns around. It's good. he makes it out. And then you better watch Rebels. If you haven't watched Rebels, if you like Clone Wars and you watched that and you thought that was great, you want to see where it goes, watch Star Wars Rebels first season. Like we said in our last review, is a little, not the best.
It's rough, but you'll get through it, and the second season's worth it. And then if you watch the rest of it till the end of season 4, it's totally worth it. There's a rumor that there's going to be another
sequel series
or a sequel series of Rebels, which is great.
I almost want to think they have to, because it seems like they're going to do more Ahsoka Tano content. I mean,
hope so.
It's highly suggested that Rosario Dawson's going to play her in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, we didn't speak about that in The Mandalorian. So I'm curious how that's going to go down. There's a rumor that Boba Fett's going to come back.
I would be shocked if he didn't. And that's not me saying that I want Boba Fett in there. Yeah. I'm just saying, literally, there's been so many things that have come out of Star Wars that they could have put Boba. I thought Boba Fett was going to be in Episode 9, because I'm like, he's such a fan favorite that has zero character development. But people would eat that up, like, oh my god, Boba Fett. So
if they put it in there, that made sense. But that none of the movie made sense.
But especially if they get Tamora Morrison to play him.
Yeah.
That would be lit. Put him, have him all scarred up from the Sarlacc and stuff.
Yeah. They would have to.
That would pull in the clones, too, from, Clone Wars and everything, and then Ahsoka would be there, and she'd be like, are you a clone? Okay, we just gotta hit record again.
Is it recording now?
So yeah, the Galaxy's Edge is stuck as a sequel film era thing, so I'm excited to see how they might adapt that later on with new content coming out. I don't know. I celebrated today. We watched a bunch of Star Wars stuff. Star Wars'd up. Took Star Wars pictures. Wore cosplay. Drank Star Wars beer.
I drank my Qui-Gon Jinn mixed drink. I watched Star Wars. And I didn't get my Ahsoka mini ears. Yeah. But I tried. And I'm wearing my Kylo Ren shirt.
Hopefully there is a new hope for the future of Star Wars. I mean, Mandalorian, again, has been so good so far.
A new Rebels series.
That's what I want. That's really what I want, honestly.
We did not review the second season of The Resistance.
We haven't watched it yet. We haven't finished it.
No, and I really don't want to be honest.
We've said what we wanted to about Resistance in the last video. So, trying to get through a second season. It is on Disney Plus now, so it's available to watch.
We'll try to watch it.
We'll check it out. Maybe in another few months we'll tell you about it, and we'll tell you about Mandalorian Season 2, and maybe some other Star Wars news that gets announced.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
The Force does.
I don't know how many hours that was, but I can put it at the end of the video if we want.
I mean, just this last week I rewatched all of the movies again,
yeah,
so...
I can't believe you did that. Thanks for watching!
What are we doing? Billy D. Williams, I'm Lando Calrissian. I'm here to say, keep on trucking out there on your freighters, such as the Millennium Falcon. It's got my favorite robot's mind uploaded into it. Just happy I can see her again. Eat some woats. Greatest snack in the galaxy. And I'll be catching you around. May the Force be with you.
Always.